Welcome back. Now, for many children and young people, video games are a harmless distraction, but for an increasing number of people, it has become an addiction, with many of the same characteristics as the likes of alcohol and drug dependency.
Quite frightening, isn't it? In fact, only last month, the World Health Organization labelled gaming disorder as a new mental condition. And here with advice for worried parents is family therapist Richard Hogan. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, Richard. You're very welcome.
So what exactly, Richard, is the problem?
Well, the problem really is the fact that the designers behind these games are incredibly clever.
Yes.
And what they're doing is they're producing a product that hooks a child into it, and then they're waiting to sell the product to the child within the game.
OK, so there's all these features
There's
to
all
keep
these features,
the child
yeah.
completely engrossed.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, this is a feature that adults will be aware of in terms of, particularly adults with smartphones, because that's what the creators of apps do.
Yeah.
They'll bring you in a free game, and then you have to buy your add-ons and buy this pack and that pack and this pack. But kids aren't aware of that. They think a free game's a free game. But when they go in, then they'll start adding on. Does the problem then surround the idea of them accessing online information to order stuff or using your card details?
Yeah, well, what actually happens is that, like, you know, traditionally, say, getting a substance, you get it for free. So you get into the game for free. So the kids think they're all playing these games for free, these massive multiplayer games online. So they're hooking up to a global community with their buddies and then the wider world. And then within these games, they're selling this content. So to get good at the game or to be proficient at the game, you have to buy the content.
You do, yeah.
And what I've noticed, say, working in schools, which is a incredible kind of striking feature of this modern gaming, is that identity and reputation is getting caught up with the game. So if you're good at the game, you now have kind of like kudos in the classroom. You've got this kind of, he's cool, John is cool at the game, he's really good.
Yeah.
And to get good at it, you have to play it excessively and you have to buy this content.
OK, so as parents of 7 boys between the two of us, what should we be looking out for? What are
10
the signs?
between the three of us.
Yeah. We're one short of a football team. Well, Laura has 2, so now we have a sub as well.
Exactly.
So what are the signs that we should be looking out for? And at what age should the alarm bells start ringing for us?
It's getting younger and younger every year, unfortunately, and it's coming through the schools, you know, it's coming out of the classroom. And it's very hard for parents to kind of, you know, get policies around this because, you know, as I was talking down before the break, friends are coming home and they're saying they have the game, so can I have the game? My friends have it. So I think the signs, and we don't want to sensationalise this for parents, and we want to, you know, have a sensible approach to it because it's here to stay. I mean, your kid will be playing games, but there are some very clear signs that addiction perhaps might be forming.
Well, maybe Richard, talk us through those symptoms. So spending increased time in their bedroom, first of all. We have a graphic on screen here.
Yeah. More time in the bedroom and less with friends. What I find in my own clinical practice is that parents come in when the behaviour has really formed, you know, when it's become entrenched.
And the horse is bolted almost.
Yeah, the horse is almost bolted. Now, all habits can be broken, but it's much easier to break a habit when it's forming. So if you notice that your child is beginning to spend more time up in the bedroom, it's time to kind of like try to look at that because an unhealthy relationship might be forming.
So rein it in then.
Yeah, rein that in.
Decrease in appetite. So is this children saying, I don't want dinner,
I mean, this is one of the most striking things I find. Only last week I was talking to a young adult in my clinical practice, and he was saying to me, I actually asked him, I said, when was the last time you realised you played the game excessively? And he said, oh, just last night. And I said, how did you notice you were playing it excessively? And he said, well, my mum dropped a sandwich up to me at 7, and it was still there at 4 a.m. in the morning. So, yeah, you know, it's quite terrifying. Yeah, didn't even notice. And that would be like, you know, standard.
And you know what?
So they're just so sucked in that they don't even feel a sense of hunger.
That's what's insidious about these games, is that they do suck you in, they take you out of the real world and they put you into this virtual life.
And you know what? I noticed that, Richard, because I'm a gamer myself, and I hate myself for it because I introduced my boys to it.
Yeah.
But I noticed even on games that I play, adults play, and if you get to a certain level and a certain, if you've a certain amount of hours of gameplay done, jokingly they will put a message up on the screen saying, "Don't forget to eat."
Yeah.
And you kind of go, "Yeah, well, hang on, I haven't eaten."
Exactly.
Right.
And that's the truth of it.
That is the truth, and unfortunately hygiene as well. I mean, basic functions
personal
like
hygiene.
Yeah, like eating, washing.
Yeah.
We'd see a decrease in those, and like anyone working in the school system would know that students are coming in tired, low mood,
And this leads into behavioural issues.
Yeah.
They become angry or maybe more aggressive.
Like, yeah, more aggressive. You know, where you'd really know there's an issue. If you go up to your child and say they're up in the bedroom, they're playing, you go up and say, come on, John, it's lunchtime, and they become irritable or, you know, aggressive, they don't want to leave the room.
Yeah.
Right.
Or like today, say it's Sunday, you decide to go visit the grandparents, and while you're out, or you're at the Bray Air show, whatever, while you're out, your child is only pestering you to get home. They want to get back to the game.
Yeah.
They're irritable. They're out. They're away from the game.
Okay, so what's the solution? How do we break the habits?
Yeah, the first thing like what you just mentioned actually there, Simon, is very important. Self-deception. A lot of parents do get their kids into the game.
Yeah.
You know, that's the reality.
Oh,
You model the behaviour you want your child to exhibit. And what I find, my initial conversations with parents, say in therapy, would be coming to terms with the pattern in the family that's allowed this issue to be maintained. So maybe coming to terms with your own self-deception around, you know, how John is playing the game so much. And it's also, you know, that's not about blame. That's about understanding the pattern so you can break it. And we have to realise too that parenting in the modern world is, you know, it's remarkably different than any other time that's gone before. And parents have to give themselves a break. Couples are generally meeting later in life and having kids at a later age. You know, they're coming home, they're tired.
Yes.
And, you know, you want to have some downtime, you want to turn on the TV, have something to eat, relax. And John's up playing the game upstairs, so it's kind of a comfortable dynamic that you have.
There's peace and quiet
There's
in the
peace
house.
and quiet, exactly. So you have to realise then you're outsourcing your parenting to the game.
Yeah.
And
They're babysitting your child.
They're babysitting your child. So it's basically about understanding that primarily at the start. What's the pattern in the family?
And then also you're into that whole world then of what are they actually playing?
Yeah.
And who are they talking
And
to?
also the chat room thing. Now, I'm not there with the video games yet. I was saying that to you, they're too young. But I really fear that chat room where they're talking to their pals, but yet you could be talking to
anyone.
Well, there
a
are
grown
safety
man.
barriers around that
yeah.
in terms of like even when I let the lads game, it's all set up through my email account or Lisa's email account. So you're seeing activity. They also can't purchase anything without you confirming it.
Yeah.
So you know, I would get a flash of an email saying, thank you for your purchase, but they would always be free purchases. They know not to buy it, they can't.
Yeah.
So there are ways to trick them. One of the things at the top of your list was get rid of the stuff out of the bedroom.
Yeah, well,
first
I mean,
of all.
I actually, before I said that, I can actually hear all the kids I've talked to around this issue for the last number of years begging me not to tell their parents this point.
Right.
You have to take the games out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's a futile exercise trying to police this thing.
If you can't see them.
If you can't see them, what they're doing.
Of course.
And they will play secretly upstairs. I mean, the amount of conversations I have with kids in the classroom after, you know, say a class, I'm saying, why are you so tired? And they'd be honest and they'd say, like, you know, I played the game all night. I finished playing at 6 o'clock in the morning. I said, well, like, you know, how do your parents know this? And they said, well, I'm under the covers, so they think I'm asleep and they're playing on their phone.
all night long.
Yeah, all night long. I mean, that's
So have it in a
frightening, but
family shared space, the
take
living
it out
room,
of
the
the
TV room, whatever.
Your bedroom has to be a technology-free zone. Take the game out, take the consoles out, take the phones out, take all technology out of the room. It's barred from the room technology. It's a technology-free zone, but the reality is both parents have to be resolute on that.
Yeah, you do have to be united, don't you?
You have to be united.
And you have to stick with it.
You have to stick with it.
Is there a number of hours that are acceptable in the week, just for parents watching this morning?
Yeah, well, I think it's really about a peaceful coexistence between gaming and real-life family life, you know, and games are here.
They're here to stay.
They're here to stay.
You've got to try and strike a balance.
But you have to parent it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very good question. I would say, you know, Fortnite, when I say that, every parent around Ireland is throwing their eyes up to heaven. It's 40 million players online. I mean, globally, it's just huge. And a game of Fortnite is around 20 minutes.
Okay.
So if you said you can play 3 games after your homework, that'll be about an hour.
Yeah,
okay.
That's plenty.
You know, so what I actually find the biggest conflict in families is that parents come up and they grab the game off the child while they're playing, and then there's huge uproar because he's left the game mid-game, and now he has to explain to his friends when he goes into school why he left.
Of course.
And
okay.
he's, you know,
So
suffered
make it clear
reputational
from the
damage.
outset you've
Yeah,
3
games. And if you break that, if you go 4 or 5 games, we're going to take away a game the next day, so you only go back to 2. But you have to follow through in your punishments.
You have to follow through.
You have to.
Richard,
It's hard when you're tired.
Thank you for frightening
Thanks
the
very
life out
much.
of all of us.
Hopefully I haven't frightened you.
No, good advice.
in.
Thanks,
Thanks very
Richard.
much.
Now, lots more still to come here on Sunday AM. Stay with us.